Hello and welcome to the Politics Show on Sangat TV. On Thursday the 8th of June we've got a general election, so please don't waste your vote. Please read the manifestos of all major parties and independent parties, and don't waste your chance to have your say come Thursday the 8th of June. So today on that front we're interviewing Jagmeet Singh from the Bantha Party.
Yeah.
Hello Jagmeet.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Hi Jagmeet, can you tell me which constituency you're standing for?
I'm standing as independent for Wolverhampton South West.
Okay, so tell us, why are you standing and why do you think your party has the public's best interest in place?
Well, number one, I'm not from any major political party. And actually, I'm not actually a politician. I'm a businessman turned charity worker that just cares about his community. And I saw that there was a real lack within the political arena of parties and politicians that actually cared about the local people and actually had the best interests of the hardworking families at heart. As such, I try to get involved within the political arena, within the parties, to try causing some kind of change. But I could see that either there was such rigid power structures where they were unwilling to change for the benefit of the common man and the common families, or the parties themselves were fighting themselves, and there was such friction that I could see, like it's just going to be another 5 years, 10 years, another generation wasted. Now, I'm a big believer that if you want to fix something, you have to get involved and get in there and actually, care for it yourself. So I live in Wolverhampton myself. I'm raising a family there. So I thought, you know what? If I want to, either I can be part of the problem or I can help the community and try to be part of the solution. And as such, I'm running as an independent. We have a brand new political party that's actually supporting me, and that's called the Bantha Party. And that's for everybody. It's based on Sikh ethos and Sikh ethics, which that's just basically about working hard. So number one, you have to be very hard working individually and yourself. If you're able to do that, a lot of people, through no fault of their own, just don't have the opportunity or maybe the ability. And so that can happen sometimes in life, and it comes in troughs and troughs. For example, even like the highest CEO, making millions of pounds, earning lots of money, the economy can turn and that person can lose their job too. So, in life you go up and down, but I want to help everybody. So as such, it's about sharing and caring and making sure that the whole community, their needs are served. And for myself, I really believe that I can be a powerful, fierce voice for the good people of Wolverhampton and represent the people of Wolverhampton South West in Parliament. Because I just don't believe that anybody else has their best interest at heart. They're too busy infighting with themselves, and they're too busy towing the party line.
So what do you hope to achieve standing for MP for Wolverhampton South?
I hope to get the best Brexit deal for the people of Wolverhampton South West, because I know that the Conservatives, for example, it may be a landslide Conservative victory. I'm pulling.
Unlikely now.
I'm just saying, I'm pulling for the opposition, and there's a lot of. I'm talking nationally now.
Yeah. I'm
pulling for them because I believe they're going to be good for the country, and there's right now it's turning into like a bit of a two-race horse.
But they don't. But like the Lib Dems and Labour, they don't want Brexit. They're going to actually defy the democratic say of the British people who voted Brexit. They voted to leave.
Well,
and now Lib Dems are saying that come the end of the Brexit negotiations, they'll have another referendum. Labour, Jeremy Corbyn, 6 or 7 times in interviews, he says he won't confirm to say that he's going to leave or not.
Yeah.
When he's asked, are you going to leave? Are you going to leave the EU? Well, we'll see what deal we got. And he kept saying it again and again. So
I believe
there's confusion there.
I'll tell you what.
There's one way. Conservatives, they're going to do the Brexit. Labour, Lib Dem, what are they going to do?
Well, Jeremy Corbyn has not said that he's not going to do the Brexit. The people have voted. They have had their their referendum, and it did go through.
Yeah.
So I think now it's going to be time to fight for the best deal for our people. And I think holistically, I'm not of a view that for us to prosper here in England and us in Wolverhampton, that everybody else has to suffer. I'm not of that mindset. I believe there's a happy medium where if we mutually can help each other, and that's what I think politics is all about, and actually life and business is all about, is finding that happy medium where everybody's benefiting and we grow as a society together. Because as you know, recent events have proven that the problems of Europe, the problems of the Middle East, the problems of foreign nations inevitably end up here at home. So I think we have to take a different approach and not think just for ourselves. For me, my first and foremost loyalties would be to the good people of Wolverhampton South West. So as such, I can help be that voice that's going to champion the best deal that's in the best interest for them. And I just don't believe that anybody else is capable of doing that.
So you've started a new party, which is the Banff Party.
Yeah.
So how hard is it to start a party? And secondly, who's funding you? Because obviously the major parties have got major funding and through businesses, and Labour have got it through the unions, which some workers who join the union have to pay a certain percentage in, and it goes to the Labour Party. So.
Actually, it's a great question. And actually, it goes on, that actually helps me tell you why I'm doing it too, because I'm doing it to inspire others. I want the common man, the common woman, the common British person that may feel apathetic towards the whole electoral process, because they get lied to by everybody. Like you say yourself, nobody gives you a straight answer, right? And Brexit, the campaign, Leave and Remain, prove to us that all these politicians lie often, bold-faced lies. And you know what, as an independent, I just don't like that. I can't stand that. I want people to be told the truth. And you asked how easy it is to start a party. Well, you know, I did a lot of research into it, and it's as easy as providing a name, signing up, paying your joining fee, and filling in the paperwork. So what I did myself was I got together with a lot of like-minded people, locally and nationally, that were actually concerned about the direction of their country. And then we made a decision together that, you know what, this is something that can be very positive. So I'm the first candidate that the Banff Party is supporting, but we're hoping during the next few elections and the next national elections, there'll be many more. And it's not somebody that has to be from a Sikh background. It's anybody that shares the values of working hard, sharing and caring and taking care of your community, which ultimately today are British values. And I think some of these are getting corroded by the dirty politics of modern day Britain. So I want to bring it back to the people, back to the families. Who's funding us? It's a great question. You know, fighting this election, I can see how much the machinery of the Conservatives and even the Labour, how much money they spend and they throw out these elections. We have a grassroots campaign. So we've raised so far close to £7,000, well over £6,000 from small denomination donations. So people going out there and having conversations like we're having today, talking about the party, talking about like a local man, a family man, a guy that's raising his family in Wolverhampton, trying to take a stand with the community. And the community is excited, so they're actually helping us fundraise. And I'm actually shocked at the amount of money you need just to print leaflets, just to deliver leaflets. And it just in about, my constituency is about 42,100 homes. And it takes a lot of money, you know. So every penny that's being donated, not one penny is going to waste. We're budgeting everything. I've got a lot of volunteers helping me, and a lot of things that will take a lot of money. People are actually coming forward and saying, "Hey, I'll do that for free. I'm a professional." So we got a lot of blessings and support from the community.
How's campaigning going? Knocking on doors, and how do you think you're having an impact?
Campaigning is really good. Like I've been actually going 24/7 since May the 11th, when I put my paperwork in and officially filed and put my name in the hat. And I've had an amazing response. Like, I always knew that if this was going to be successful, it would really have nothing to do with myself. It would be fully to have to do with the community. And the community has really come through for us, because number one, they've helped with funding. They've helped with a massive grassroots movement. They're doing a lot of the conversations and talking for us. So I'm going out there, and the common man that opens the door, the common woman, they're actually very excited. They've been looking for a fresh voice and a new avenue, because they're actually sick of the choices they've been given. It's just one party fighting another party for their own best interest. And actually the best interest of the family, of the householder, gets brushed aside. And when they say, look, when I can happily tell them I have zero party allegiance, I have 100% allegiance to the people of the constituency of Wolverhampton South West, to the point where on every single one of my publications and everywhere publicly through the council and electoral commissions that you could, I've given my actual personal home address. Because I live in the area, I want people to know that they're more than welcome to come knock on my door. I have a small little front room. They can come and have a chat with me if they need to. They can reach me on my email. We have also a website now, www.jagmeetsinghpanth.com, where all of our contact information is on there. We've even got an 18-page full 2017 manifesto that covers all the points from Brexit, taxation, transport, things that are really dear to people's hearts, like healthcare,
I've got
like the NHS. You know, that we need to really cover these stories.
Okay, so I was going to say, what for you in Wolverhampton South would be a good result?
For me, for the best thing for the whole of Wolverhampton South West, is to elect Jagmeet Singh, myself, as an independent, because that would send a message nationally, and we could have a revolution within this country overnight. How Donald Trump's campaign for the negative changed America by him becoming the president, how Brexit made our country quite divisive, and that campaign when we voted to leave really changed things overnight. We can change things overnight for the positive, because I can guarantee you there's 1,000 other gentlemen and women like myself out there that are willing to get into politics if they can see that there's light at the end of the tunnel. And I believe already my campaign and our movement has proven that and shown that there is light at the end of the tunnel, that you should get involved, because the common man can make a real difference. So if we elect myself for the MP for Wolverhampton South West, then it sends a massive, it will bring Wolverhampton South West on the national psyche, and actually globally as well. So they can be in the forefront, leading the way.
Okay, so you've got an independent party.
Yeah.
Why are most independent parties left-wing? The left of centre?
Well, that's a good question. Now, I didn't actually consider if I'm going to be right, left, centre. I just considered what are my actual values and what is my guiding force. And I'm from the Sikh background, Sikh faith. And the Sikh faith, the fundamentals of it is, again, working hard, sharing and caring for others, right? And serving the community. So as a Sikh, it's not my responsibility to only serve the Sikh nation. It's actually my foremost responsibility to serve every man, woman, and child, and the environment of the planet that I live in the home I live in, the city I live in, and the country I live in. So I'm concerned about that. So as such, my values, call it left, call it right, because I think I'm a little bit right in the sense that I do believe in working hard. I do believe that every person, if they're given the opportunity to succeed, if they're given the tools they need, they can build something out of their life, which is actually proven by our community in the respect that we're majority, we're immigrants, right? And we come here, we make this beautiful country our own home, and we actually rise to the top and give back to the society. And I don't think that our community is anything special in that sense. I believe if anybody, given the right, let's say, the fertilization, right? If you have a garden, you put the right ingredients into that garden, anybody can blossom, right? So it's not specific to one culture or one society or one type of person. It can be anybody if they're given the right tools to succeed. And that's what I want to help nurture our country to grow the best.
Okay, so because your manifesto is slightly towards the left. So why don't you just instead of running, why don't you just run as a Labour candidate?
Well, to be honest, there's so much friction and infighting within the Labour Party, as I mentioned. Now, where I live in Wolverhampton, I get letters through the post all the time from all the parties, and I can see how much money they're all spending. And actually, my local MP that's trying to run for Labour is actually saying, you know what? She's acting more like an independent in the respect that she's saying, I will fight for you, and I will go against the party line if I need to.
Yeah.
So the funny thing is, even them, they're willing to fight their party. So I'm free of that. I'm free of the tangles of the party. And the good thing about myself is I can steal ideas and ideals from Labour, from Lib Dems, from the Greens, and even some from the Tories. Whatever works for the best interest of the common people and the hard-working families, and actually the people that are marginalised, the people that are forgotten. Now the Tories, they're on the opposite end. They actually won't, most of them, they won't actually go against their party for the betterment of the common people. They'll toe the party line despite the people. So I am actually free of that, and I can work for the people and by the people. Okay,
so just going on that on the Labour front, because obviously, because you're associate, you'll be working with, well, not working with, but a lot of your voters will come from the Labour background as well. You know, the Labour Party now have got in their manifesto that they're going to have a report into the 1984 Sikh genocide in India. and they're pressing it again now with not emergency, but more meetings and more press now, saying they're doing this for the Sikhs that they've done previously. Now, do you think it's right that the Conservatives are trying to do, the government are going to do another independent, maybe do another independent inquiry or look further into it? Do you think it's right and decisive that they're using that 1984 genocide to try and win votes, just to try and win Sikh votes, and putting it in as another footnote? Because we need to look at the Chilcot inquiry and what happened in Iraq. 200,000 people, men, women and children, were killed. Yep. Thousands of military were killed from Britain. Yep. They didn't come back to a hero's medal, a winner's medal or a hero's medal. It was an illegal war. There was no weapons of mass destruction. Saddam Hussein was not a threat to us. We had no plans for anything after Iraq. We were just going to bomb it, invade, get rid of Saddam Hussein, who was classified as a dictator. And look what's happened to Iraq, Syria, Libya, the whole of the Middle East.
We destabilised the whole area.
And who did that? The Labour Party. So
well, no, I wouldn't say it's the Labour Party. I would say it's the American government with the British government.
Yeah, the American government, we can't really. We're looking at our politics. The Americans have a different psyche and a different way.
All those points within what I say.
So if the Labour Party are asking for this thing that they're going to do for 1984 for us, surely they should look at what's happened in their history before, and people should look beyond that and say, why are you bringing up 1984 for your own votes, just to try and get votes? You should have policies that affect us as well. I'm not saying 1984 doesn't affect us, but we need an independent inquiry, but it shouldn't be seen as a big emergency thing that we're putting on and spreading out and just getting seats just followed like sheep.
Okay, that's a good point that you raise, and I actually agree with you that that Labour, I believe, with the 1984 issue, are playing political football.
It's sly.
And why I tell you that, why I feel that is because under the 30-year rule, the papers that affected in 1984 came out 3 years ago. So why did it take, I asked that same question, I've done it in a lot of interviews.
Good.
Why did it take Labour 3 years to raise that and put that in the manifesto a couple of weeks back? It's for political gain. And I want to let Sikhs know that they need to wake up to what's going on. On the same token, in the same hand, I commend Labour for doing it. Because you know what? Shame on the Tories, shame on the Conservative Party, that they could care less. And actually, the Conservatives who are in power have the authority and the resources to do that inquiry right now.
Yep.
And this is not something that affects only the Sikh community. So I'm not championing this issue on behalf of Sikhs. Actually, I'm championing this specific issues on behalf of the British public, because I believe that regardless of what background you're from, we should know the truth from our government and what level of involvement and exactly what happened in a genocide.
Yep.
In a genocide in 1984 that decimated the Sikh population. And that's a human rights, human civil liberties violation of immense proportions. Only comparable, really, to the Holocaust, which is a tragedy upon all. Now, in regards to who is to blame, for current wars and what you just mentioned earlier, I hold the whole of the UK government accountable for the wars and for destabilizing the Middle East. And I tell you why. I spent some time in America, and America is a more secular society in the respect that they are much more easily manipulated by their media because they all watch the same few major media channels. They're all being fed the same lies and the same lines. And what I mean by that is journalism on the most is dead. Now we have journalism, where a person writes up a story, feeds it through to everybody, and nobody bothers checking the facts. That's why we have such a rise in fake news. We've got a lot of fake news coming from a lot of different countries, and it spreads like wildfire. But you know what? I expect more from Great Britain. I tell you why. We live in the middle of the world. We are so centralized, and I believe we are more, a lot more, let's say, knowledgeable about what is going on in the world, because we have slightly more better news sources, slightly more unbiased. Not to say there's not a lot of improvement, because even our media is very biased, because you can just see that the attacks on Jeremy Corbyn. Jeremy Corbyn is not a bad man. I respect him as a man. I believe he's a humanitarian, and I do hope that he will be our next Prime Minister, because I trust him.
You really do?
I totally do.
But he's even made speeches where he's saying that he wants 5 or 6 years ago, that he wants the police unarmed. He wants to get rid of MI5. You know, he doesn't. No one wants our police to be armed, but that's a fact. We have to have.
Theresa May cannot be trusted. She can't even bother to show up and debate the rest of the candidates for an election that she herself called. She is in my opinion, very sly, very manipulative, and she's using the public. She doesn't respect the people. She does not respect the common people. I'll tell you why. Because she's called a snap general election, given us 4 weeks to decide the fate of the next generation. And you know what? She's not actively participating. And you know what? That's indicative of the Tory party and the Conservatives as a whole. Because, because even locally, the Tory candidate in Wolverhampton South West has refused to come on any debates. He's been invited on so many debates, because I've been on a few live debates myself, where we're waiting for him to show up, we're hoping he showed up, because they're not accountable to the people. They come in, they're parachuted in, they have nothing to do with the local area. So the Tory candidate for Wolverhampton South West and the Labour candidate for Wolverhampton South West have nothing to do with Wolverhampton South West, apart from they're parachuted in to swindle the votes. So, and you're never going to see them again for another 5 years. The Conservative candidate for Wolverhampton South West that's running right now, he was actually in power from 2010 to 2015. I want the British public and the people of Wolverhampton South West to ask themselves, what real change did you notice for yourself and your family that occurred during that period of time? Did things get better for you, or did things get much, much worse? And where was he the rest of the time for the last 2.5 years? The gentleman purely disappeared. You can't find him now again until his name's going to appear on the ballot box. And you know what? I just don't trust a Tory.
But you just don't trust a Tory?
Because of who they are. The Tories, the Conservatives, if you look at the lead, I can only judge a book by what the content is inside. Theresa May is not fit to lead our nation. She does not have the best interest of the people at heart. You know who she has the best interest for? She has the best interest of the very rich. Her super rich friends. I'll explain to you why. I'll explain to you why, right?
But you see, this is what I think. You're representing the Labour Party.
I'm not representing the Labour Party. I'm representing the voice of the people. This is what the people, that I'm echoing the sentiments of the people who I go and meet on the streets.
But okay, one thing is like, the reason why you like Jeremy Corbyn, massive increase of housing, free childcare for 2-year-olds, massive amount in education, massive amount going to be spent in NHS, England and Scotland. NHS Wales is run by Labour. It's in a much worse state than NHS England. They've got the full control of the budget there, and the waiting lists are a lot longer, but no one mentions that. Renationalisation and everything, of the trains, of energy firms, etc. It all sounds great, that all these philosophies and free education for everybody, but who is going to pay for it?
Oh, I'll tell you what,
and the thing is, the independent, the Institute of Financial Studies has said that it doesn't add up. So they just, you can write anything. I could write manifesto. You should have written a massive manifesto saying you promised the world, give it to people.
Well, you know what?
But because the problem with socialism is, it's great, it's great until you run out of other people's money.
Okay, so by that logic, you would think that the Tories being in government for the last 7 years, that our national debt would have gone down. Things have got much, much worse. The Tories, the Conservative Party, is mismanaging the United Kingdom. They're reappropriating funds from the poor and giving them back to their rich friends. So I don't.
But they've increased the lower tax threshold. The people on minimum wage or low wage pay less tax already.
I'm not here to defend Jeremy Corbyn and the Labour Party. But if you ask me straight up, I will give you an honest answer and say I believe Jeremy Corbyn to be a humanitarian first and a politician second. I want to encourage more of that. I think I wish him the very best. And nationally, I do wish Labour the very best, because I believe personally they're going to be very good for our country and the common people. And you know what? They do have, regardless of what the media may say, regardless of what individuals like yourself may say in this regard, they do have a fully costed manifesto. And you know what?
But it doesn't add up.
The Conservatives don't even have a
fully costed manifesto. But it doesn't even add up. It doesn't add up at all.
The Conservatives are saying, you know what? Just trust us. We've let you down for years. You
but
really don't know.
But the Conservatives ain't promising so much like Labour are promising. Renationalisation of the train lines, that's not going to be overnight. That's a massive amount of money. The infrastructure, and I've worked with government. Let me explain one thing. When you work with government companies, they have such a different methodology to private companies, the way they work. The paperwork and the way the processes are not as advanced as they are in the private world. And that responsibility and that pressure. I mean...
So let me just make one last point there, right?
Yeah.
So why I do feel that especially the local people of Wolverhampton South West must elect me as the independent candidate is because no matter who is in charge, I can hold their feet to the fire.
Okay.
I'm not a Labour front man. I'm not a Labour... I could care less. I want what's best for the people. So if Labour go against what they're saying, I will be there to roar like a lion and make sure that the best interests of the people of Wolverhampton are put forward.
So if Labour go ahead with what you're saying, with this massive manifesto that doesn't add up at all.
Well, that's your opinion.
The Institute of Financial Studies, a completely separate organisation, said it's going to be massive taxation, highest ever in post-war history, and it doesn't add up. Even with the tax on corporations, their tax on anyone who's earning over £80,000 increase, and other taxes are going to get, it still doesn't add up. And then renationalisation of industries, the fundings have been cut even into that area. They're asking for too much, and the problem is, you feel great voting Labour or supporting Labour and their philosophy is going against the norm, but what happens in 2 years' time when the country's bankrupt? Then we're stuffed.
Do you believe that country's not bankrupt right now? Do you believe our national debt is not through the roof? Do you believe that we're not throwing our problems to our children's generation and their children's generation? Right now, things are as bad as it's ever been, and the Tories have been in power. Now, I'm not going to defend Labour anymore, because I'm not here to do that.
Yep, sure.
I'm here to simply let the people that are watching know that there is a massive media bias, and it's my responsibility to speak the truth. So if I feel that one party is being slighted, I'm going to stand up for them. If I believe another party has a massive media machine and amazing propaganda where they're selling the worst ideas to the general public, then it's my responsibility to defend the truth and let the people know that.
But there's an independent study saying Theresa May has handled more questions from the media than Jeremy Corbyn. It's just the way that it's portrayed.
Well, you know what? The way that Theresa May handles a question is like a politician. She'll tell you it's raining and it's a sunny, sunny, beautiful day. She has a way of twisting the words and not actually giving you a straight answer, but still using words and making a sentence and stringing it together and rehashing the question without actually creating a point. Okay. So although that statistic may be true, which I don't know if it's true.
Yeah, it is true. I
take it from face value. Yeah. What is the content of what she's saying? I don't want a leader that's afraid to publicly come and defend her own ideals. If Theresa May's ideas are so good, why isn't she publicly defending them within the settings of a public debate? And I'll tell you why that's very important. Yeah. Because she wants us, the British public, to trust her to negotiate Brexit for us, and she can't even negotiate a live debate. She has to send in her right-hand woman. Shame on her. She should show that either she has the gumption to lead our country, or, you know what, let it to somebody else.
So I'll explain that a bit further. The first debate was on ITV, where the SNP, Lib Dems turned up. I think the Greens turned up as well. And Jeremy Corbyn and Theresa May were invited. Corbyn didn't turn up, and neither did Theresa May. What happened after that was obviously Twitter and social media and all that saying that Theresa May didn't turn up and all this stuff. Corbyn then decided to go to the last ones. Even I think 2 days ago when they had the one in Cambridge, it was only on the day that Corbyn and his media decided that he will go there.
Well, good on Corbyn for showing
that. Yeah, but he only did that because
because
the impact on Twitter and the impact on social media, that he's strong enough to come in front.
Well, you know what? Theresa May should actually react to the sentiments of the public that she wants to serve. So if social media is a way that the regular people that care about their world get their voice out, and it's a very real media these days. Social media is actually real media in the sense that even the BBC and all the news stations will report on tweets. You know, so it's come to that level of recognition now. So if the people are saying that they want the leaders there, then Theresa May should have given the people what they want. She's not doing that.
Yep.
And the Conservative parliamentary candidate for Wolverhampton South West is not doing that. Time and time again, I'm hearing from the people that I'm meeting on the street and at the doorstep, where are the Conservatives? What do they stand by? Who are they? Are we ever going to see them again? And you know what? They're frustrated. And it's indicative of the party. Now, I'm not against the regular Tory voter.
Okay.
Because you know what? I respect that person.
The hard-working person.
The hard-working person.
That doesn't want to be on benefits.
You know what? Let me answer that point right now. The hard-working person that doesn't want to be on benefits, right?
Yep.
I don't believe that anybody, quote-unquote, wants to be on benefits. It's a proven fact from the 2007-2008 catastrophe that we had where the financial markets just crashed, that even the very rich, even the CEOs can know bad days. Because you know what? If a company goes down, the CEO will lose their job.
Okay.
And there have been documented cases of CEOs that are on benefits now. And you know what? It's a safety net to catch anybody. I'm not saying that we should let them live on benefits. I'm saying we need programs to help rehabilitate and encourage people back into the workforce.
Before we just finish off, because you know about Labour's benefit scheme and all that, and we want people out of that system. But our time's coming to an end. Jagmeet, would you like to give a brief summary of why you should be voted in for your constituency and why your party should be voted in?
So first of all, I don't have a party officially in the respect that I am an independent candidate for Wolverhampton South West, and I'm from Wolverhampton, raising my family there, and I will be the only one that can actually champion the needs of the people of Wolverhampton on a daily basis. I'll be reporting to you at will, and another Conservative at the table is not going to make an ounce of difference because they won't have your best interest. Another Labour person that's not from the area, you know what? The party's got too much infighting. I can be a champion for the people, by the people. Please vote for Jagmeet Singh, Independent, Wolverhampton South West on Thursday, the 8th of June. Thank you.
Thank you for your time, Jagmeet, and thank you all for watching the Politics Show on Sangat TV. And please do vote on Thursday, the 8th of June. Goodbye.